Here, Rick Gates. What do we know about him, and why was he also indicted?
So he's been a long-term business associate of Paul Manafort, and according to this indictment, Gates was really instrumental in setting up some of these offshore bank accounts where he was putting that money, also allegedly helping Manafort access some of the money in those accounts. You know, it's very interesting as a prosecutorial strategy to not only indict Manafort, but also one of his associates, because a lot of this is just a game to get people to flip on one another. So perhaps if they can't get Manafort to cooperate fully, perhaps they can get Gates to cooperate against Manafort, make their case against Manafort stronger. And let me tell you, you may not want to cooperate with Robert Mueller, you may not want to testify against some of these other even more significant people, but when there's a federal indictment with 12 counts and your name on it, there is definitely an incentive to cooperate. And it appears that that is what Mueller is getting at with these very aggressive, very public tactics that he has taken against Manafort. Not only today's very public indictment, but also the no-knock warrant that we saw earlier this summer.
Yeah, I wondered about that. I know that, some have talked about, indicting Manafort first and what that would mean moving forward. But I thought about indicting both Manafort and Rick Gates because, at least from the stuff that I've read, Rick Gates has worked very closely over a number of years with Paul Manafort. And as I understand now, Rick Gates was on the inaugural team, which is not obviously as significant as the transition team or anything along those lines, but he was able to at least survive Paul Manafort being forced to step down and remove himself from Trump's inner circle. And I wondered if this was maybe an attempt at pitting each against each other.
Absolutely. That's what I was trying to get at. I think if you can't get Manafort against some of these other high-profile campaign or White House people, perhaps you can get Gates to flip against Manafort and put more pressure on him. This is all a chess game. This is certainly not the culmination of the special counsel's work. This is all just an effort to start at the bottom, get people on whatever charges you can get them on, to incentivize them to cooperate on the larger overall questions about possible collusion between the campaign and Russia.